You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you gotta take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you?
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Folks, welcome to Debaser, a film podcast. I'm Jared Rusk, and I'm joined by my trusty sidekick, Will.
I'm a really good person.
On this show, we explore both new and familiar movies as we attempt to analyze and interpret them, all in an effort to debase the films and ourselves. Will, we're in the midst of financial crisis month.
This is week number 3.
This is movie 3 for us, for this. And today we're talking about Arizona.
What, do they teach a seminar to you guys? Just how to lie to people? You didn't say that my house would double in its value in 2 years. Lie.
Say whatever you gotta say to close the deal, don't you?
Hey, buddy.
Would you like to take a tour of my house?
My personal gym. This is where the pool's gonna go right here. I'm gonna do a little swim-up bar right there. It's gonna be sexy as hell.
So these are your kids?
Jason Penn. That's me. You know, I'm just gonna say it aloud. Your boss is dead.
Please don't kill me. I have a daughter.
Shut up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I have kids, and that was mean. Here's the plan. We're gonna take Gary's body,
Bodies are like super heavy, right?
and we're gonna chop it up. Like civilized people. Cassie! I told you I wasn't gonna kill you!
911. What's your emergency?
There's a man inside there, and he's killed people.
He's got a lot of guns.
Yeah, boy.
So do I.
Damn it! God damn it! Who'd I shoot?
I'm looking for my ex-wife and my daughter.
I'll help you find them.
Okay, I gotta get out of here.
I need everyone to be nice to each other until it gets dark. Relax and put some TV on. God damn it. Okay, we're not gonna watch TV. No one's watching TV, okay?
Put in the Arizona song right here. Arizona. Yeah, it's like it was right after the quote, right? The big quote that was like in 2005 there was a lot of houses built in Arizona, right? And then in 2006 the housing, like the prices started to decline, and then in 2008 it all went to shit, is the quote. And then there's the preamble, right? Our person, I know I'm like jumping way ahead, but
Oh, no, you're good.
that's okay. The preamble has our protagonist, Rosemarie DeWitt, who's named Cassie. She's trying to sell a home to some guy and his third wife, and she's, doing her thing to get these people in this fucking home, and she's showing them all the different stuff. She takes them out back, shows them the pool, and then they hear screaming, and she's like, oh shit, it's name of people that she knows.
First, she's trying to ignore it, and then they realize, like, no, this is serious screaming, and so she knows who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she runs next door and goes up the stairs of the house to find the occupant, and I guess the occupant's husband or someone. I'm not too sure who that is.
Yeah, I think we're left to assume it's a husband and wife. Yeah.
He's currently hanging himself. And
from the ceiling fan,
and the wife is trying to keep him from choking out, and so Cassie goes underneath the other leg and tries to keep him from choking. I was like, why the fuck is he doing this? And we don't really get a good reason. She says, the bank's and I didn't hear her finish that sentence because she was like grunting and there's a lot of noise. So the lady said something, but they said the banks, and it's alluded that either the guy lost his job or they're about to be foreclosed on.
Yeah.
And They save him because I guess his necktie snaps, but
Well,
then the fan
no,
falls on top of his face.
The ceiling fan, and this is kind of a nice meta commentary on the state of all the homes in this neighborhood anyway. But the ceiling fan is not attached very well to what I hope is a ceiling beam, and not just the drywall, but it does break, and they get him down, and then the ceiling fan falls on top of him.
But doesn't kill him.
Doesn't kill him, but it breaks a bunch of his teeth, and he has a bloody mouth, and he just says, "Kill me."
Yeah, you should have just fucking killed me. And actually, to your point, to get into the house, she lifts the sliding glass door off its hinges.
I forgot about that. She knows how to break in because the back patio door is just so shitty.
Everything's so shitty. Yeah,
it's reinforced throughout the movie that these homes are not well built. They were built quickly,
and on top of that, the final point to shitty home is we get Chekhov's basement.
Unfinished basement. There's not even stairs.
No.
Yeah.
So that comes back.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. But after that, he's like, you should have just killed me, it goes, boom, and then you get the title card, you get the song, you get the flyover of the desert and shit. And it was quaint.
It's a good prologue.
Yeah.
And it sets the tone for the rest of the movie because... Boy, this movie's a tonal whiplash of...
I think that's the reason why I like
comedy
it.
and thriller. No, I can see why.
Comedic horror movie.
Thriller.
Thriller, sure, yeah.
So Arizona is a 2018 film. It's available to watch on Tubi and the Roku channel. And it stars Danny McBride, Rosemarie DeWitt, and Loli Sorensen.
And I also put down Luke Wilson just because he's kind of he's not a major character, but he's a...
No, yeah. Well... we also get appearances by Luke Wilson, David Alan Grier,
Seth Rogen.
Has an uncredited appearance.
Oh, really?
I think he did this as a favor because him and Danny are friends.
Yeah, and Danny was an executive producer on the movie.
Yes, he was. So was David Gordon Green and Jody Hill.
I don't know those two people.
I was going to get into later.
Good.
They are frequent collaborators with Danny McBride.
Ah, okay.
David Gordon Green did the recent Halloween trilogy, or was it 4? Was it 3 or 4?
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, though, where they brought back...
Michael Myers.
Yes, but his first victim, his sister, the first victim.
Yeah, not Jodie Foster.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes, that one.
They brought back Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's like she's finishing this. She's like ending Michael. David Gordon Green did that with... I think Danny McBride actually co-wrote those scripts as well, but he doesn't appear in the movies.
Okay.
And Jody Hill is a frequent collaborator with Danny McBride as well. He is the creator and director of Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals,
the shows,
Righteous Gemstones, and also the movie Foot Fist Way, which I really like.
Okay.
Those are all I feel like they should all exist in the same universe where Danny McBride is just like an over the top piece of shit that you can't look away from.
I've heard the Chapo Boys reference the 3 shows as the Wasp trilogy.
Wasp?
Yeah, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
I don't...
Go back and rewatch them with that in mind. Maybe it'll make more sense. I'll have to find the episode because they talk about the Righteous Gemstones
when I think of wasps, though, I think of Northerners, and
I don't fucking know.
Those shows are very much a part of the South. I think they're almost all set in South Carolina, if not near there.
I thought Gemstones was Tennessee. Either way,
they were talking about. But I bet they film in South Carolina actually.
Sure,
they love South Carolina. They all live there. Yeah.
But when they were talking about Jerry Falwell and all of the stuff that was happening with him, they referenced Righteous Gemstones and then talked about Danny McBride's trilogy, the 3 shows, and that's what they referenced it as. And those guys, I mean, they can pick up on stuff that I couldn't. They did that really good breakdown of Starship Troopers that I had not considered.
Talking about Chapo?
Yeah.
I need to actually listen to more Chapo.
Bits and pieces. No, bits and pieces.
I'm only I've listened to a couple episodes of the main show.
Yeah.
But I mostly know them from their guest appearances on other podcasts. So I'm not intimately familiar with the whole group.
I will do what you should do for me with Doughboys and get you a selection of good episodes.
Just curate the
curate the experience because there are some good ones and then there are some not good ones.
Of course, that's any podcast,
yeah,
including ours. This is a good one. Don't turn it off. Don't turn it off.
But there's quite a few people in here, and one of the producers was also the writer, but I didn't catch his name. I didn't write it down.
I do have that later.
Okay, cool.
It's after my brief synopsis.
Yeah. So let's
Set in the midst of the 2009 housing crisis, this darkly comedic story follows Cassie Fowler, played by Rosemarie DeWitt, a single mom struggling realtor whose life goes off the rails when she witnesses a murder. It's directed by Jonathan Watson and written by Luke Del Tredici.
that guy. Yeah, he's also producer.
So the writer, Luke Del Tredici, has written for 30 Rock, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the recent Craig Robinson show Killing It, which I've not seen, but I want to check it out.
Those other two definitely make all of the pieces are starting to come together for me on this movie.
It's written by a comedy writer.
Yeah.
And I think it's, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I feel like it's his attempt at a Hitchcockian thriller.
Right.
With a lot of comedy.
Yeah, he's no Jordan Peele.
No. It doesn't. I'll get into that.
Yeah,
I'll hold off on that one.
Yeah.
This is director Jonathan Watson's only feature film as a director.
Oh, okay.
He's also directed episodes of Preacher and Future Man. Both are Seth Rogen adjacent. If you will. I believe Seth Rogen produces both of them, and I'm pretty sure he wrote some of Preacher.
Yeah, Haley's watched Preacher. I have not watched Preacher.
It's based on a Garth Ennis comic that that I liked. It's good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But I've seen a couple of episodes of the show, and it's also good.
Yeah, I've also heard that.
And the way they modernize it is good too. And that's true. That's been true for a lot of recent like comic book adaptations into miniseries, like even the new Watchmen one.
The new Watchmen was a really fucking
good shit, and where it had no right to be. You're just like, damn, I'm glad they adapted this.
Yeah,
I would not have guessed it was going to be good. Jonathan Watson also frequently serves as a second unit or assistant director / AD. You hear that a lot in the industry on a wide variety of work, including La La Land, Bad Boys, and The Truman Show, as well as many of Danny McBride's other works like Eastbound and Down, This Is the End, Vice Principals, and The Righteous Gemstones.
Huh, okay.
So that's the connection there.
Yeah, all these people are kind of like buddies.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how...
that's how it works, because like Adam Sandler has like the same thing kind of going on.
Yeah, in general, that is how the industry works, but especially with these folks.
Right.
Like they just tend to run in circles they find collaborators that they like. And again, this is true for anything.
Yeah.
Any part of the industry or any industry, even you could make this argument. But especially around Danny McBride, and even you can extend that to the Knocked Up and Superbad guy. What's his name?
You're not talking about Seth Rogen. Oh, were you talking about like the guy who directed those?
Yeah. And
I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is.
Judd Apatow.
Oh,
you could expand this to the Judd Apatow universe.
That's true.
Like he was getting huge when we were like in high school and like in college.
Did he not start with Idiocracy? Oh, like
no,
he had
that's
stuff
Mike
before.
Judge.
No, it's Mike Judge. Sorry.
Yeah, Mike Judge was the Beavis and Butthead guy
Yes.
who also did Office Space.
Yes.
But no, Judd Apatow
walked.
started with Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you're thinking of.
That's right. That's right. That's
and
right.
and like almost everybody on that show went on to be in like a lot of his later movies.
Yeah.
40-Year-Old Virgin,
right?
Knocked Up, etc. This is 40, etc., etc.
Yeah.
An entire extended universe, and then all of those people went on to have like their own, like they would work on other movies and bring in those guys, and Judd Apatow would like executive produce it, and stuff like that. Like, that's
I know.
How the thing.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of circles.
It's all
connected. It's all.
Are they cells interlinked?
Time is a flat circle, and cells between cells interlinked. Between cells interlinked.
Yes, exactly.
I could not find any information on a budget or the box office numbers for this film.
Okay.
Box Office Mojo does not know this movie exists, which I thought was strange.
Very interesting. Is not on IMDb?
It is on IMDb. No, the budget is not that I could find.
Okay.
I may have skipped it on there because I can normally find it on Wikipedia or Box Office Mojo. I didn't look on IMDb, but because I couldn't find it on the other two places,
I'm just gonna say it doesn't exist.
Yeah. But Hollywood accounting is whatever they want it to be.
This is true.
By the way, just as a side note, whenever I read the budget numbers on here, that's probably made up by somebody else.
Well, isn't all money made? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, if you want to get down to the finer points of it, but honestly, those numbers are made up. And that sometimes that doesn't take into account like marketing budgets. It's purely the filming budget, like here's what production had to work with.
Right.
Or it's just what the production company said they had, because I find out a lot, you'll see in interviews where the numbers are like the budget is floated by the director in a Q&A, and they'll be like, who told you that? That's not true.
That's not true.
Like they gave us like a third of that or 3/10 of that, and it's
I gotcha.
Yeah, just Hollywood accounting. It's very strange. So take it all with a grain of salt.
When is that bubble gonna burst?
Well,
Jared,
never. The last time it did, multiple studios went bankrupt. It was insane.
do you think we should short sell on Hollywood?
I mean, with the WGA strike and then the pending SGA strike,
And then all of the flops this
or
summer.
SAG, not SGA. Yeah, well,
I have heard this term floating around called "go woke, go broke."
oh my god!
And I'm
You've heard it floating around for the last 10 years?
And I think, just messing.
I would, if I could short sell stocks on movies, I would finally start betting against superhero films, maybe. But people have been saying that for years. Like, are people finally tired of superhero fills?
Guardians of the
because
Galaxy,
a couple do bad.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy and Across the Spider-Verse both made.
So that's the thing.
A shit ton.
You always it's because not all of them are hitting that people finally start pressing the button that says, our audience is finally tiring of Hollywood movies, and it's like, no, just people know when there's a stinker.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Ant-Man. I know.
Poor Ant-Man.
It didn't deserve it.
It didn't deserve it.
Yeah,
it didn't deserve it. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get
no.
back,
Listen,
let's
that's what the podcast is
true.
us.
Talking about
Digressing about all of that.
How shady Hollywood is.
The film was not well received by critics or audiences.
Okay, I'm glad that you put that in there, and I don't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off, but I'm glad that you put that in there because I was actually blown away when I went on to
Rotten Tomatoes?
No, I went on to Plex, your
Oh,
Plex.
well, it has the Rotten Tomatoes
It has
score
them right there, and
on
they're both in the 40s. And I was like,
Yeah.
damn, I really enjoyed this movie the first time that I watched it. And then rewatching it, I was like, I really enjoyed this movie. What is going on?
I pretended like I didn't see it because I try to do that when I go into a movie blind.
Oh, okay, sure.
But when I did clock it and go, ooh, that doesn't bode well.
No, it definitely doesn't. I was like shocked by that. I was like, what the fuck is this? But now like you're telling me we don't have a budget, we don't know how much it made. I think that this movie just came out and like disappeared immediately.
The movie studio that that produced it or released it, distributed it, maybe tried to pretend like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think is the kind of thing. Because I definitely didn't see shit about this movie. And
I didn't
think
either.
I think I randomly came across it on IMDb one day because I was looking up Danny McBride.
Right.
And that's how I even knew it existed.
Yeah.
But then I forgot.
Yep.
And because you brought it back up to me for this show.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, I remember seeing a trailer and being like, I should watch that. But it never entered back into my consciousness before you recommended it because I feel like it got buried, intentionally buried.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has a 43% Rotten Tomatoes.
It's crazy.
which, it's not that bad.
No, it's not.
It's not what I would call a success. Like, it's trying to marry two disparate things.
Yeah,
and
they don't usually go together very well.
Right, but when it does, it's great.
Yes.
Your midnight runs. You even mentioned Jordan Peele is able to adeptly mix comedy and horror, and this is trying to do, like, I think I said this already, but a Hitchcockian thriller,
Right.
Split with lots of humor, and I think both are. There's elements of both. Mm-hmm. And I was laughing at this film, but I'm always laughing at Danny McBride. I love him.
He's
so
Danny
goofy.
McBriding his ass off in this movie.
But I think it was undercutting the tension because as much as of a threat as he was on paper, I didn't really feel the threat. I was shocked every time he killed somebody. And I was like, oh right, he's like a psychopath in this.
He's unhinged.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't just. I wasn't buying the tension.
Okay, I gotcha.
I think that's where a lot of people came off on.
I gotcha.
I've got a couple of quotes too.
No, yeah, let's hear it.
So Brian Tallarico of RogerEbert.com wrote that Arizona is a frustrating film because one can see where it could have been, what it could have been, if a filmmaker knew how to guide it and had some daring choices or confident direction. That's kind of what I'm getting at, too.
I gotcha.
And Amy Nicholson of the podcast Unspooled, which shout out to that podcast, it's good, reviewed the film for Variety and said, Arizona takes a whack at a couple of bigger ideas like a drunk teen playing mailbox baseball. That's a little rude, but
that's mean.
I know exactly what she's saying.
Yeah.
This movie is tackling the housing crisis as like a setting.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
It's a good one.
And that's why we chose it for this month.
Exactly. Kill your realtor.
But yeah. I mean, yeah, realtors are kind of the bad, like they're being punched on in Big Short too.
And
mostly mortgage brokers, but yes.
Yeah, and in 99 Homes as well. Michael Shannon's character starts off as a realtor, and and turns into a.
Well, it's said that he wanted to put people into homes, not get them out.
Exactly.
But he just saw an opportunity. So.
Right. But this is you make the boogeyman out of the two people that are fucking you, either the banks that are taking your money or the realtors that are selling you these homes that you think you can afford.
Right.
Because I wrote down here when Danny McBride is complaining about. Seth Rogen, what and him were arguing about.
Yeah, he's like, you told me this house would double in its value in a year.
Yeah, but he got one of those adjustable rates.
That's right. He specifically calls that out.
Yeah, he gets the adjustable rate.
If you listen to our Big Short episode, that was a big part of the housing crisis. So many people were signing up for ARM loans, which were devastating.
Yeah, he couldn't live up to it. And it's it's not just that. When you look at the character throughout the movie, he's obviously made some bad investment decisions with his own business and stuff like that. But
but I feel like that shouldn't be. And I don't think this movie has enough to say about it. But The Big Short touches on this, and the 99 Homes as well has much more sympathy for the people put into these predicaments.
Yeah,
but sometimes you're just dealt a bad hand, and our society. Our government at large isn't set up to protect those people. It's set up to protect the institutions
that are take
advantage of those people.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it's a different movie. Never mind. I almost quoted something from this movie, but I realized it's not this movie. So the government, once the housing crisis was clear as day, was more than happy to write a check for $700 billion to bail out
the banks,
all the banks and everybody that caused it, but not to the people that were affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
People were just foreclosed on. They got laid off, and it took years and years to...
No job, no home.
Right, to recover, to get new jobs, to buy new homes, to get their retirement savings back, but... There wasn't a solution for those people.
There was no safety nets for the average day American.
There was
that's really fucked up.
There were some attempts.
Oh yeah,
something like Cash for Clunkers being one. of them.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember that shit?
Fuck.
There were
my god, I remember that.
Measly attempts.
Yeah.
By the government, because Obama had just entered office, right after it all went down.
Yeah.
And Obama is a liberal, not a progressive.
Right.
So he had some well-meaning ideas, but they didn't go far enough. Mm-hmm. And also, he was kind of kneecapped. I do think he came into office with a Democratic Congress.
Yeah, but halfway through.
But then he was a lame duck, I remember, in his last 4 years, because it was all Republicans.
It wasn't just the last 4 years. It was halfway through his first term.
Of his 8 years?
Sworn, yeah.
Okay. But it very quickly turned the other way, because there was the Tea Party and all that stuff. We won't even have to get into that. But, A, he couldn't pass a lot of the laws he wanted to.
Yeah.
He had to fight tooth and nail. And B, he wasn't going to go far enough anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
For a lot of these things, Yeah. And George Bush, as we discussed in our Big Short episode, George Bush was the one who wrote the bailout. But
yes,
Obama would have done it as well.
Yeah,
1,000%.
You told me that he said he was on record I would have done it too.
Yeah, he was in favor of it. He was never criticizing it. Yeah.
I gotcha.
But...
Ooh, we got far off. So, do we want to break down what this movie, what's going on in this movie? Do we want to talk about the plot of it, or do you want to just hit some beats?
I think because of the movie being what it is, it is a thriller.
Yes.
We might as well just run through the plot real fast.
All right.
So in 2009, the real estate housing crisis has taken a severe toll on a number of large suburbs in Harding, Arizona, that were built just before the crisis began.
And Harding does not exist.
There's a fictional town.
I did look it up.
We did our research.
But if you do Google Harding, Arizona housing crisis 2009,
turn safe search on.
Jesus fucking Christ. Anyways, the first result should be an ABC News article for 2008 that talks about how Maricopa County came out of nowhere and how it was affected by the housing crisis within the same year of all that stuff happening. But continue.
Divorced realtor Cassie Fowler, played by Rosemarie DeWitt, herself underwater on a mortgage, lives in Harding with her 14-year-old daughter Morgan in a struggling real estate market. Cassie is ridiculed one morning by Gary, played by Seth Rogen, her sexist boss. While Cassie is on the phone with a debt collector regarding the potential foreclosure of her own home, a client named Sonny, played by Danny McBride, enters the office, enraged at Gary because the house he purchased through Gary has lost significant value. The argument turns physical as Cassie leaves the room to continue her phone call. During the scuffle, Gary is pushed over a ledge by Sonny and falls to his death, which Cassie witnesses. Sonny notices Cassie and tries to convince her not to call the authorities, then knocks her unconscious and takes her to his house.
Doesn't he say right before he does that, "I'm sorry, I'm a really good person"?
Yes, he
and
does.
He keeps reiterating that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Why do you think kept doing that? Like, he's just like...
Because he's a psychopath. He doesn't think he's being a bad person. He thinks he is just doing what he has to do here to survive.
Gotcha. I thought it was like a way for him to cajole himself into...
Yeah. He's a Travis Bickle. You know, he thinks he is a righteous and just man that's just being pushed too far.
Yeah, you're right.
When Cassie awakes, Sonny tells her he will let her go if she promises to keep quiet about the incident. As Sonny is removing Cassie's bonds, he learns that Cassie deceives her customers by wearing a wedding ring even though she is divorced. This enrages Sonny, and he ties her up again just as his ex-wife Vicky, played by Caitlin Olsen, or Sweet D from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yes.
I don't watch Always Sunny, but like for
You
whatever
should.
reason... Man, so many people tell me that.
I feel like that show's right up your alley.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good, and it's one of the longest running shows ever, which is really surprising. Well, for a live action.
That's pretty crazy.
Anyway, his ex-wife Vicky enters the house. An argument ensues between Sonny and Vicky, ending with Sonny knocking her unconscious and tying her up next to Cassie. After an argument between Sonny and Vicky, Sonny bashes Vicky in the face with a granite block, which kills her. Cassie tries to calm Sonny down, but Sonny decides to kidnap Cassie's daughter, Morgan.
It was funny. Once again, him trying to convince himself that he's not bad. He goes,
Right.
We killed her.
Yeah. He keeps blaming Cassie, saying, like, you did this.
Yeah, you
if you
pushed
would
me
have kept
to
your
do
mouth
this.
shut. Yeah, and you got her to argue with me. Yeah, it's so shitty. Sonny arrives at Cassie's house and tells Morgan that Cassie has been in a car accident and in an effort to get her to come with him willingly. Suspicious, Morgan attempts to call her mother's cell phone, which Sonny has, leading to Sonny forcing his way into the house. Morgan hides and calls 911, but Sonny has picked up the other line and tricks her into believing he is the operator, revealing her location in the house.
A very clever scene.
Yeah, and honestly, a little too clever for him because he's implied to be a huge idiot.
Bingo. I was going to say the same fucking thing
Yeah.
because like his wife, when she comes in, she keeps calling him a fucking idiot.
And we see that he is a doofus. Like,
Yeah.
he has made so many mistakes
Well, okay, so
in his life.
So,
Yeah.
when Cassie does come to after getting knocked out by Sonny,
Yeah.
he kind of does like an MTV Cribs,
Yeah.
like style,
where he's showing her around the house while he's still wearing the backwards hoodie and he's cut holes into the back of the hood to be like a balaclava, but he ends up just looking like a Griffin from Berserker.
He looks like Grimace to me,
or Grimace even. Yeah.
Shout out to Happy Birthday Grimace. But he's showing off all of his bad purchases
in his really dumb house, and the little golf area. It's like a little tiny,
it's an itty bitty little
putting
bit.
green.
Yeah. And the gun wall. The gun wall's so fucking cool.
Oh yeah, honestly, that was an impressive feat of engineering. It's like a little glass cabinet built into the wall.
Yeah.
But it's also just like real psychopath shit that he's just got a bunch of guns on display.
He saw that shit in John Wick and was like, "Yeah, I want that too."
Right. Yeah. I thought you had more. Sorry.
No. That was a very clever thing, and I was like, okay, maybe he's not as stupid as his wife.
That's
says
the
he
thing.
is.
He's clearly an idiot. He's
Yeah.
played to be an idiot. But when it comes to him being threatening, like he has everything at his disposal. He's able to sneak up on people.
Yeah.
He has.
I think it's because he's like unassuming. He looks like adult, so it's very easy for him to get a one up on people.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Is it that we expect less from him? And
Because he's Danny
actually
McBride.
very good at being a murderer?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because he has dead aim.
Dude, he's got the dog in him. Anyway, sorry.
Where was it? Okay. Cassie, back to the movie.
Yes.
Cassie has untied herself while Sonny is out kidnapping her daughter and runs to the guard shack at the entrance to the housing development. The guard is reluctant as he states he has not been paid in weeks.
2 months.
2 months?
2 months.
Damn. He's clearly just showing up because he doesn't know what else to do.
Yeah, and he's having a great time.
Yeah, he's just hanging
intro,
out, blasting metal with his dog in the guard booth.
The intro is fantastic.
But the guard lends her his cell phone. Cassie calls Scott, played by Luke Wilson, her ex-husband, to come and help her save their daughter. She tells him the name of the housing development, but quickly hangs up as the sheriff pulls up.
I want you to stop right there real quick.
Yeah.
So, do you know who that sheriff is?
Yeah, David Allen Greer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his
I've seen
name.
him do stand-up live.
Okay, fuck. I didn't realize that's his name. I never knew his name. I've always known him as the guy from Jumanji, the guy in the cop car.
The new Jumanji?
No, the old one.
He's in that?
I could have
I don't remember
sworn
that. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I
don't think I knew who he was when I was a kid.
Every so often, I rewatch it.
Yeah.
But the last time out I watched it was when Robin Williams was found dead.
But he's in everything. But I've seen him do stand-up when I was visiting LA a few years ago.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a really funny guy.
It was great, and it was a little bluer than I was expecting, but, it is what it is. It's like, not that I know David Allen Greer from lots of kids' movies anyway, but, like, about Bob Saget, right? Like, rest in peace, but Bob Saget from Full House?
Yeah.
He notoriously, like, would do stand-up,
he would do
and it was
raunchy.
Yeah, real raunchy. And not just because, like, it's worse than you would expect because he's the dad on Full House.
He's like a wholesome...
It's actually, like, like stuff that I would blush at, like, just wild. Anyway.
Yeah, I've heard he was, like, a really, really nasty dude. But,
In his comedy.
Right.
I think he was considered a nice person and, and had friends, and, in the community.
But when he showed up the first time that I was watching this movie, I was like, oh,
yeah,
fuck, it's the guy from Jumanji. I love this guy.
He's great. He's great. So David Allen Greer plays the sheriff, and Cassie is dismayed to learn that the sheriff is the only law enforcement officer in the entire area, which he states is due to the rapid inflation of population just before the housing crisis.
Which is a reference to Maricopa County. When it got thrown up, it didn't have a hospital, and it didn't have...
Oh, I didn't know that.
It didn't have a hospital, and it was missing, like, one other service, and I'm assuming that the police force was also
probably
very tiny.
Police, because Maricopa County is famous, to me, most famous for its sheriff around this time. Not now, thank God.
Oh, wait, is it the what's his name?
Joe Apiro.
Yeah,
something like
Arpaia,
that.
Yeah. The
famously
guy who
the most hated sheriff in America
that's
for a
right,
long time.
Because he was like dirty as fuck and
massive piece of shit.
Yeah,
he was allegedly, not only was he corrupt, but he ran on the fact that he was arresting anyone that he suspected of being an illegal immigrant. He had a standing order for all his officers to arrest anyone that may have been, didn't have their, documented status. They would throw them in the jails, and the jails did not have air conditioning. They did not provide clothing. You had to buy clothing. It was all, you had to buy underwear, you had to buy pants, you had to buy shirts.
What a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, and he ran on, because a sheriff is essentially a politician with a gun. You are elected.
Yep.
Sheriffs are some of the craziest things in America.
And running against one is not usually a good idea.
It's like suicide
unless
because
you're
they have
unimpeachable because they have the police force.
I mean, we're recording in a county with a very famous sheriff who is now maybe the most famous sheriff now that Joe Apiro has since been dethroned because he lost an election many years ago and has faded into obscurity since.
Yeah.
But let's not even touch on our current sheriff here. But yeah, Joe Apiro, big fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, he sucks. Hate that guy.
A bunch of punk bands that I was into in high school put out a album called Fuck Joe Apiro at the time that was raising money for groups that were fighting him.
Oh, that's awesome.
At the time. Yeah,
that rules.
God, he sucks so much.
I didn't know that. But yeah, it's I thought that was a neat little nod.
Anytime I hear Maricopa County, that's what I think of because it was in the news all the time because it's the sheriff of Maricopa County is doing some crazy shit and the feds are looking at it being like, is this legal?
Can you do this?
Can we prosecute? And they would just be like, it was at the time, it was the, not dog whistling, what is it? The rights version of virtue signaling.
It's a dog.
It was
vice signaling?
No, it was like
it was a dog whistle.
Yeah. I mean, it was buried in racism, but it was like what DeSantis does now with Disney. It's not a real fight. He's not going to win.
Culture war stuff?
It's a culture. Thank you. That's it.
No
it was just culture war stuff.
I got you, baby.
Before Trump started all of that, you know? And then, that's...
Gotcha. Anyways. David Allen Greer shows up and he's awesome for 2 minutes.
So Cassie takes the sheriff, David Allen Greer, and leads him back to Danny McBride's house, albeit with some difficulty as many of the houses in the suburb look very similar. Sheriff Coburn forces his way into the house with gun drawn. Coburn is then sprayed in the face with pepper spray and fatally shoots the unseen attacker, which is revealed to be an elderly woman, indicating that they are at the wrong house. Almost immediately after this reveal, Sonny arrives and shoots Coburn dead.
Right in the fucking head. Oh my
brutal.
God. It's pretty nasty.
He takes Cassie at gunpoint back to his house and forces Cassie and Morgan to dig graves for the mounting victims. But Cassie is able to distract him and hits him in the head with a shovel, allowing her and her daughter to escape. Cassie and Morgan find the keys for a vehicle in the neighborhood and then head for the sole exit of the suburb. And as they drive towards the gate, Sonny appears and is revealed to be in the guard's uniform, having killed the guard in the guard booth.
Yeah.
Sonny shoots out the vehicle's tires, causing the vehicle to crash. Cassie and Morgan flee on foot to the nearest house, but discover it is an abandoned grow house. There's tons of pot plants. I knew the second they were prying the plywood off the window and you could see a bright light from inside. I knew that was what it was going to be, because that's all I think of when I see boarded up homes now in nice neighborhoods. I'm like, oh, that's a fucking grow house. They're just blotting out the windows.
That's funny. Two things I want to get to before we move on. So I've got written down here Chekhov's bullets, because we have a small scene where
I touch on that later. I haven't forgotten it. Sorry.
All right, cool, good. No, you're good. And do you have in there Luke Wilson's divorced dad energy not being existent at all?
No,
because he talks about how I shouldn't have cheated on my wife, and I ruined our relationship.
That's a good scene, and I skip over that until they actually show up in the suburbs.
Gotcha.
Later.
Okay,
but no, we can touch on it now.
Sure.
So as all of these events are taking place,
every so often
Cassie has called her ex-husband to say that hey, a crazy guy has kidnapped our daughter. I need you to come down here. And so he is on a long trip. I'm assuming he lives far away.
Yeah, he lives in
either
he lives in a different county or he lives in either New Mexico.
Oh, he lives in Phoenix.
That's what it was.
And it's apparently a long drive.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of scenes of him and his new girlfriend making the trip down there.
Yeah.
And they are not really fighting, but we're getting exposition about how they got divorced.
Yeah.
And how Luke feels like he failed as a father and a husband because he cheated. I think it's implied with the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she has no remorse about it, but he does. You can tell.
Yeah.
And but he wants to go there and save the day, but he's not he has a gun in the glove box of his car, which his girlfriend is very infatuated with. Yeah. But she's teasing him because he keeps the bullets, the clip, in the trunk of the car because he doesn't want the clip, ready to go, which is a good idea in theory. But
you make the gun basically useless. You're not going to be able to do anything if somebody shows up at your side
door.
Well,
yes and no. Yeah. But I know people who carry a loaded gun in their car and have shot out, their own car. I'm not going to call them out on this podcast.
Shit, that's wild.
But I don't think I don't think he listens. He knows who he is, though.
Yeah. But what was I was gonna say, I think the reason why he doesn't have divorced dad energy is because he's clearly doing really well for himself.
Oh, right. He's driving a BMW. He's clearly got a good job.
He's got a nice house. They've got 2 Apple fucking laptops.
2 MacBooks, yeah.
Yeah. Even Danny McBride's character is like, what kind of BMW is that? Series 5, or whatever.
Yeah, he goes, what kind of car is that? And he goes, it's a BMW. And he's like, I fucking know that.
He's
what kind of series is it?
Yeah. So good. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to
you're
derail you.
I know a lot of car makes and models.
Yeah.
But I can never get Lexus and BMWs because they're all just numbers. And
are they really?
It drives me crazy because I'm like, that's not distinguishable for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit down and remember the I-35. I remember the M3. That's one of the best BMWs.
My eyes are glazing over, guys.
Sorry. But yeah,
I'm so sorry about that too. You can cut that out, please, or leave it in. I don't care.
I'll leave it in and double it. Is this
dude, fucking put that shit up, isolate it, remove all the other sound, and just crank that fucker up. Sorry.
So the ex-husband, Scott, and his new girlfriend, Kelsey, arrive at the guard shack, and Sonny convinces them that he is the security guard. Sonny leads them through the neighborhood and tells Scott to shout for Cassie and Morgan. Still in the grow house, Cassie hears Scott and runs outside. She sees Sonny and shouts at Scott to run him over, but Sonny shoots Scott
in the
dead
fucking head
before he can understand.
That scene fucking kills me, man.
Yep.
Shit makes me so bad.
It's
And
because
also,
he's like the second character to just die almost as soon as like
he shows up.
Yeah.
Also, Danny McBride is covered in blood, and there's a fun little gag about like, oh, this isn't my blood.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. It's not mine." Yeah,
He just shot a fucking dog.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because he has the guard dog, which he tries to unleash on Cassie and Morgan,
And
but
he
then it
turns
turns
around
around
and is like-
and just starts chewing on him.
Yeah.
And so he just blows away. I left that part out because it was
No,
kind
you
of
need to know
upsetting,
how
and I was trying to
shitty
be
this
brief.
guy is.
Oh,
yeah. All right. Anyways, yeah, he shoots Luke Wilson. Is fucking bullshit.
So Kelsey panics and manages to back the car up, but crashes into a light pole, which falls down and starts a brush fire in the yard of the house that she drove into. While trying to retrieve the gun from the trunk to shoot Sonny, the fire reaches the car and she is killed in the explosion.
Which she referenced earlier in the movie.
Man, it like you said, it's Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
And that is one of the funnier like plot beats to me, where she finally like goes into the trunk through the back seat,
gets the
and
bullets.
gets the clip, like digs around and finally finds the clip, puts it into the gun, and then the explosion triggers.
Yeah.
It's great.
This movie's all about subverting expectations, guys. Y'all who didn't like The Last Jedi need not apply.
Oh my god, we don't have time to get into that.
I'm just messing.
Sonny chases Cassie and Morgan back into the blacked out grow house because the power has gone out. I think I touched on that.
Yeah.
Sonny finds them, and just as he is about to shoot Cassie, Morgan shines a flashlight in his face, distracting him and allowing Cassie to stab him with a pair of gardening shears.
It's his expensive, dumbass flashlight. The one that he spent,
the one that he was like bragging to her about.
Yeah, it's got torch mode. Check this out.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Sonny pursues them and catches Cassie at the door of the unfinished basement, which she is showing off in the beginning of the film.
He doesn't know that.
Right. After a short struggle, Cassie pushes him in, and Sonny dies from the fall. Cassie and Morgan walk out of the development, which is now engulfed in flames from the spreading fire.
Brush flower. Yeah, that's the movie.
That's Arizona. I've already mentioned how it's tonal whiplash. It's trying to be a thriller, but it's undercutting itself constantly with the humor.
With the comedy, yeah.
And there's a way to do that. Mm-hmm. You know, we've seen plenty of movies that can effectively do both. But yeah, I don't know if it's because this is like the director's first feature film, or the writer is only known for writing a lot of pure comedic sitcoms.
I think it's so. I didn't have a problem with any of that stuff.
Right.
I enjoy.
Largely, it's successful for you. Right?
Yeah, personally for me, I watched this during the pandemic. I took a shot on it. I was like, the sound's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, I was like, man, I really enjoyed that. It was like, it's fun to see. I think it's part of me really likes watching comedians do serious roles or they are something else other than like being funny. Like watching Danny McBride be a psychopath was enjoyable for me because I know him as this silly stoner guy, and now he's running around, shooting people in the head, and it's wacky, you know. Same thing with like the Skeleton Twins with Kristen Wiig and
that's a great movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
I need to revisit that.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Kristen Wiig and fucking Bill Hader are doing serious roles, and it fucking slaps. That movie's so good,
And without that, I don't think we would have gotten Barry.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And then Bill Hader in Barry, he's like, that's a funny show that's also a thriller, and I think that one dances on the knife's edge perfectly. That's a good ass show.
Yes.
So like it can be done. And like the gags in this movie were very funny, like I said, the MTV Cribs bit, the part where Danny McBride throws Seth Rogen over this railing. It's kind of like, that's silly. And he's like, he was supposed to catch himself. It's like an ongoing thing. Just at every point where the tension is reaching like, not a fever pitch, but like not even like a crescendo, but like it's rising up.
Right.
You're right. It does get undercut. But for me, I think that is funny. It is a subversion of expectations. You're expecting things to go one way, and then here's his ex-wife, and she's just berating him while he's got a hostage. And that's silly. Or right before David Alan Grier dies, he's warned that this guy's got a lot of guns, and he unhooks both of his fucking pistols. Like, so do I, and then he kills a random person, and then gets murdered himself. It's, I don't know, a lot of that stuff. It was good for me. I enjoyed all of that.
I didn't hate it. I had fun watching it. I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was successful at doing what it was trying to do, and I don't know if I could recommend it to anyone that isn't like a big fan of like Danny McBride's.
Yeah, if you like Danny McBride, I think you'll really enjoy this movie.
And if you don't like Danny McBride,
you're not gonna like this movie.
It's not gonna do anything. You're gonna hate it.
Yeah, you're not gonna like it at all. That's very true.
Yeah.
If you like, trying to think, I don't know. If you like, some comedy in your horror, if you like rated R horror movies, I
keep saying horror, but
I know it's not a horror movie, but it kind of is in a sense. It's a one lone psychopath murdering a bunch of people. Like it kind of. You could do the same thing with like does Michael Myers doing the exact same thing, but because he's like supernatural, does that make that horror? I don't think so. This could be a horror movie.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because like Psycho, all your Hitchcock movies. I have invoked his name already in this podcast. I know. I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but you're.
It's only like the third time you've said it, so it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, Red Eye.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you call that a thriller or a horror?
I could see the argument for both. Like, because
I agree.
The person is stuck in the seat next to a person who is unhinged.
Yeah.
And they are, in a way, being hunted.
Yeah.
People are dying.
What's that guy's name?
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy.
You mean,
I always wanted to say Cillian, but it's Killian.
Barbenheimer.
Yeah, that's right.
We're seeing that, right?
Absolutely, both.
Yeah,
we're doing a double feature for Debaser.
I'm gonna be.
It's gonna be the Barbenheimer episode.
Anyways, it's if you like some comedy injected in your thriller or horror movie things, and you like your stuff rated R, I think this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you don't like Danny McBride, if you don't like comedy, if you don't like horror, it's not up your alley. If you don't like your realtor, it's up your alley.
I gotta say the 43% of Rotten Tomatoes feels harsh.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I was genuinely shocked when I saw that. I could understand like the audience score because, I assume that people went in there with one expectation and came out the other end with another. I mean, what the fuck is Beau is Afraid's Rotten Tomato score right now? Because I know that there's plenty of people who went in there not knowing anything and left like halfway through the fucking movie.
It's a really good question. Give me just a second.
Yeah, you're good.
Tell you.
But so like, I think that the critics were way too hard on this movie, and maybe they were getting like Danny McBride fatigue. It's 2018. He had been in Superbad, Hot Rod, Pineapple Express.
I don't think he's in Superbad.
Is he not in Superbad? I thought he was.
I don't think so, and if it is, it's a very small
role,
because it's mostly the kids.
I get you, but like he's been popping up more and more and more since Pineapple Express.
Beau is Afraid has a 67 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That feels audience score?
No, audience score is actually 71.
You're kidding me! What the fuck?
I know.
Maybe it's because there isn't a lot of reviews.
243 critics.
Oh, that's actually okay. No, never mind.
250 verified.
To all the audience
Yikes.
members who saw that movie and gave it a 71. Thank you.
I cannot believe it has a higher audience, but that feels like a movie for critics.
It does feel like a movie for critics.
That's shocking.
It is kind of shocking.
But I feel like Beau is Afraid deserves at least an 80, but whatever.
No, that movie is almost fucking perfect.
It's divisive. I can understand why it's divisive. 1000%. I don't know how to recommend that movie to people that aren't like you and me. That are like movie buffs that will see.
Am I a movie buff, Jared?
Of course you are. You have a movie podcast. But people who are willing to see something a little more experimental or arty.
Yeah.
Because Hereditary and even your Midsommar are easier.
You can market those.
Easier to recommend to a general audience.
Yeah.
Beau is Afraid is not that.
No, it's not. You're right.
And I feel like Arizona should be in the 60s, not the 40s.
I agree.
I don't know, man. It's a really stupid metric.
I agree.
It's so easy, though, is why things like that in Metacritic have taken over.
I'm curious what its Metacritic score is, or if it even has one, because like
it's got to be similar.
You think? Do you really think that those like? Because I know that a lot of people have been going to Metacritic now just because it's harder to like review bomb things on there.
Well, you'd think so, but it happens with video games all the time.
Does it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And because it's like, they added a trans character, And
Oh,
it's like,
yeah,
here we go. Prepare to get an F, for a
Yeah.
while. It's 63 on Metacritic.
Okay,
So,
but that's
yeah.
that's exactly where you would have put it. So,
No, I mean Arizona. Sorry, that's Beau was Afraid.
oh no, I meant Arizona, right? What is Arizona's on Metacritic?
I don't know. Hang on.
I'll find out. We're asking the hard questions. We're doing the real research right now. But yeah, I don't know. I
41. Yeah.
You're kidding
That's
me.
the thing. Metacritic is usually about Rotten Tomatoes because they're scoring the same people for the most part.
Okay. So what I was going to say is to tie this back into like the theme of the month. I could definitely see something like this happening. Let's be real. Like a person who is pissed off at their realtor going and trying to take revenge. Case in point, 99 Homes. Michael Shannon is living in multiple different houses and can't go out in public because people know who the fuck he is.
99 Homes almost ends with someone doing that.
Yeah, it's true.
Because, like, that's kind of my problem with the end of that movie, too. 99 Homes. Not to revisit a movie we've already talked about, but that guy is unhinged.
Yeah.
The father that,
Yeah.
Andrew...
Frank. It's Frank. His name's Frank.
Frank.
Yeah.
What's the main lead actor in that?
Andrew Garfield?
Andrew Garfield, who's actually British, and I didn't realize, like...
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
Because I was telling my wife, I'm like, I don't believe that he's like a Floridian in this.
Yeah,
She's like,
he's
well,
British.
he's British. And I went, oh, that explains why he's like trying so hard.
I actually thought that you knew that.
No,
when
I
you were
didn't.
saying that.
No, my wife had to tell me, and I was like, that makes a lot
of
more
sense,
stuff
yeah.
makes sense because I felt like he was putting it on too hard. But anyway,
Yeah.
that guy is unhinged. Like, I'm like, yeah, Andrew Garfield wronged him, and like, I'm glad that it's eating him up inside, and it's why he like tries to diffuse the situation.
Yeah.
But also, like, that guy was always going to do this, maybe. So
Sure. Okay. He was one bad day.
Yeah,
He's just
right,
like,
right.
He's just like the Joker. He's
well,
like-
and I hate the idea because so much fiction is predicated on that idea of like it just takes, one, like you said, one bad day
One bad
or
day.
like one more person wronging them for them to lose it all, and it's not their fault. It's society's fault. I'm like, no, that's the whole Travis Bickle thing. It's not society's fault. Like, yeah, they are being failed by society, but like,
Jared, we live in a society.
damn it.
But yeah, so if you if you listened to 99 Homes and you enjoyed that and you thought, man, what if Frank was a comedic character? Boom, there's Arizona, baby. Cut it, post it.
So there's just some stuff I wrote down as I was
Yeah, of
watching.
course.
Danny McBride is so to leap some praise on this movie, and it's not if you know Danny McBride, you know what you're getting when you
Yeah.
see a movie that he's starring in. But he is so perfect at playing a goofy Southerner everyman. His character in this is not exactly a stretch for him, but he plays to his strengths as an actor.
Yes, he does.
And it works, especially in the three shows that I've mentioned.
Right.
Eastbound and Down, which was a big personal favorite of mine. Vice Principals, which I missed as it was airing, but then caught up on later and loved. And Righteous Gemstones, which just started its third season.
That's right.
As we're recording this.
Yeah.
Amazing show. It's maybe his most palatable show. Like, I think more people will love it.
I really liked the first season. The second season kind of lost me. I never finished it.
Really?
Yeah. And I made it 6 episodes in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of episodes.
No, I know. I don't know. It wasn't, it didn't resonate with me like the first one did.
Huh. That one gets, I think, if I recall, it gets a little zanier, but I really like where they've gone. There's only been like 2 or 3 episodes out of this
Of the
third
newest
season,
one,
but
yeah.
It's I recommend it
I'd
if you
have
want to
to
check it out.
Rewatch the second season and then make it to the third. But
If
I mean,
it's not
like,
doing it for you, you don't have to.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I give Eastbound and Down a shot.
yeah,
It went on for a long time, but like they kept trying to end it, and HBO kept writing them bigger checks, being like,
yeah.
"Come back, come back."
I'll have to do that when the 4th season of True Detective comes out because I've canceled my HBO subscription.
Oh,
but
I see.
when
Yeah.
that one's about to come out, or when the first episode airs, me and Haley are rewatching
Yeah.
all of True Detective.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, me
We
too.
maybe we'll pivot to TV for that.
Okay, fuck it.
'Cause-
It's Jodie Foster's the
Yeah.
fucking main, so like we kind of have to.
I am so excited.
Okay.
Because I will always. True Detective is so interesting. We can't get into True Detective.
No, we
in this
can't.
episode, because
No.
we have a storied history with True Detective.
Yes, we do.
Because you and I remember every day, like every Sunday night, would just message each other about season 2 as it would air. Remember?
Yes, because...
And it was just you and me being like, was it good? What do we think about this?
Yeah,
and we were just like, that was kind of a big how we got to here with this podcast.
I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Not to completely derail.
Yeah.
Hey, if you like Danny McBride watching Arizona. Anyways, True Detective. Yeah, season 2, I wanted it to be so good so badly because I love Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
I really like what's his fucking name?
Wedding Crashers?
Yes, Wedding Crashers. What is his fucking name?
God, I don't like him though. He's in the Psycho remake too.
Yeah, I like him.
I almost said Ving Rhames, but that's not it.
What is his name? Anyways, so it's got...
it's killing me. I can't think of it.
It's got Taylor Kitsch in it, which I actually feel really bad for that guy. Because,
that was my introduction to him too, and he's good at it. Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, sorry.
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to say Ving. It was a V word.
So
yeah,
Colin Farrell, Vince Vaughn, Taylor Kitsch, and what is her name? Not Amy Adams.
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams.
She's incredible.
Yeah,
and
so,
I think I just barely knew who she was, and now she's one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah, she's really good.
Amazing.
So like I liked two people going in.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted more for Taylor Kitsch as an actor because I feel like he kind of came into Hollywood at the wrong time.
Yeah.
John Carter was really bad. It did not make any money.
Yeah, I forgot that was him.
And then he was in Battleship literally the same year. That one also bombed.
Yeah.
And before that, he was only doing like TV shows. And after that, he's only really done TV shows. He's really good in Waco. And he's the main.
Is it
he's
Michael Shannon in that too?
Yeah, you should go watch it.
Damn.
Yes. Anyways, my mom's watching it right now. So, hey,
Yeah.
Mom, how you doing? But like, I wanted that to be so good, and I feel like because I wanted it to be good, I was blinded a lot by the shortcomings of the series.
Yeah.
And I remember that me and you had like a lot of back and forth on that. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is good or not. Like, where is this fucking leading? And it's like, it just turns out they're fighting against the fucking mob. And
well, it's just like, because season 1 was really fun to pick apart, but I didn't do it in the moment because I came to it after it all aired.
Yeah.
But then season 2, I was like, okay, I'm going to get into the discourse and like, rip apart every episode for clues. And that's what you and I were doing. But we were also trying to investigate if it was good or not.
Yeah.
Because there were so many think pieces about it being bad. And I was like, but is it though?
Yeah. Is it bad?
But I like every episode I would come away being like, I don't know.
Yeah. It definitely had shortcomings because like the first one was so interesting because it almost had like a supernatural aspect to it. And
I think that's maybe the biggest disappointment about it is that
it didn't have that.
A lot of that didn't come to fruition.
And then the third one
left so many hanging unanswered things.
The third one didn't have that either, but the difference in time.
Well, they teeter on it because they reference the events of season 1.
But that's about as far as it goes. Like,
Right.
they're not really connected. And I think that one did a lot better because the second season had to fail. So the third season did well because people weren't expecting. They were like, okay, we can't expect there to be some sort of supernatural thing in these shows. Ergo, we're not looking at like what the fuck is going on and trying to like come up with really out there theories. We're actually like looking at specific people and trying to place things together. And then the crime not being solved and it like destroying one guy's life, because of it. I don't know. The third season was more interesting than the second season for sure. I think the first season is still the best. We'll see what happens with Jodie Foster.
I'm pulling for it.
Yeah, me too.
But so the writer and creator of that show, and he is arguably the head writer. Like, I think he tries to single-handedly write all of the show himself. I think Nick Pizzolatto.
Yeah,
is I've learned more about him since I've watched the first 3 seasons of the show.
Right.
And I don't know if I like him.
Oh, okay.
He's a very Zack Snyder-y guy.
Yeah.
Where he is very self-centered and really about fitness and looking good. Like there's like a famous picture of him like shirtless, smoking a cigar, like writing on a laptop, and it's just like, what is happening here? Like this is
weird.
Very vain gentleman.
I would like to slightly pivot away from True Detective and ask you, have you seen Mayor of Easttown?
I've watched the first 2 episodes and I really liked it, but I wasn't ready to keep watching it because it was too depressing.
That show is so good.
And I will come back to it.
It has a lot of similarity to the
Yes.
first season
I've heard
of
that.
True Detective.
Yeah.
And me personally, you can take away season 2, True Detective, and take Mayor of Easttown and just drag it right in between 1 and 3, and it would be a better sequel. And then like the same thing with like Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets also has a almost feeling of the first True Detective.
But you go into that knowing it's going to be more of a B movie take on it. Because like I really like Yellow Jackets is very entertaining.
Yeah.
And I should say I'm coming at this after having finished season 2.
Yep.
And it's, I may be learning to settle my expectations for that show because season 1 set them so high for me.
Yeah, season 1 was so good. Season 2 had a lot of weird stuff going on that was like, I don't know.
I got to say the finale
yeah,
felt off.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was rushed or
I agree with you.
They had to do something purely for, small spoiler for Yellow Jacket season 2, but I feel like maybe they had to just write a character off because they wanted to leave or they were getting too expensive or something.
Sure.
It felt very ham-fisted.
Yeah. I agree. No, I agree with
it
you.
was
I
off-putting.
think that you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to like end seasons.
Yeah. We are so off topic.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh, you have more stuff?
Oh, I touched on the rest of that. Nope, that's it.
All right, we're good. Hey. All right, let's fucking end it.
Folks, that's been the show.
Thank you so much for listening.
I wanted to go out on advice. I want to give out.
Do not, if you're looking to buy, do an adjustable rate.
Oh God, don't take an arm loan. Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. That's the one thing I've learned from this entire thing is like, don't do an adjustable rate because you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you can't, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's bad. Very bad. Don't actually get revenge on your realtor. They're just some guy.
Yeah. Try not to,
go postal.
Put violence out into the world. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind.
Ooh, I like that saying.
When you brush your teeth in the morning, try not to eat or drink anything for an hour, and don't rinse your mouth out after brushing your teeth. You're supposed to let
the
fluoride sit on your teeth.
Oh, maybe that's the reason why my teeth are so jacked. Just kidding. I've actually got a lot of reasons.
It can be genetics and lots of other things. Yeah. Folks, thank you for listening. You can find our show on social media by searching at DebaserPod. I'm Jared Rusk, and you can find me on Twitter at Jared S. Rusk, if it still works, or on Instagram at solid_slack. Will, where can people find you, and would you like to plug anything?
As ever, pocket_infinity on Instagram. I recently posted up that finished commission of Tyranids that I did. They look really good in a glass case. They don't look great when you really, really hold them up to your eyes. Because that fucking primer. We've got like different primers, and sometimes they're very hungry for paint. And so once you're done putting on a layer and you look at it, there'll be like bits and pieces of white shining through afterwards because like it has just slurped it right up. So yeah, I'm working on a large robot. I've had it in my garage for a really long time, and now it's competitive. And like I slapped some initial paint on it many years ago.
Yeah,
and it looks like shit. So
is this the thing from Megan?
Yeah, it's the thing from Megan. What was his name?
I don't remember. I wish I did.
Damn it.
The thing that almost saves the day. Actually, he does.
He rips her in half. Like
that
thing doesn't. She's not nearly as threatening without her fucking legs.
Right.
It's that guy. Yeah. So.
Well, with that said, good night, everybody.
Bye.
Debaser is hosted by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk, with production by Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to podcast@debaserpod.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple Podcast. And please tell a friend to listen to Debaser. Our outro today is the song Tier List by Perfect Vibes. That's perfect with 2 R's. Thank you for listening, and take care out there.